every human being wakes up identifying as a hero in a story. A hero is character that wants something and overcomes conflict to get it. So as it relates to your business, my question to you is, what's the conflict that your customer's trying to overcome? They are the hero in the story. You never want to position yourself as the hero in the story. The reason is that's a weak character. That's your customer. Your customer is a weak character. Every customer out there has a problem and they're looking for somebody to help them. And so what you need to do is position yourself as the guide helping the hero win. And all of a sudden people start paying attention to you. I always say if you want to grow your business, talk 75% about the pain your customer is in and 25% about your product. Your sales will go up.
Welcome everyone to the Main Street Business Podcast. This is Matt Sorensen, and I'm honored to be joined in studio by Donald Miller, best-selling author, teaches people how to consult and grow businesses, and has worked with probably thousands of business owners in growing small businesses. So It's a pleasure to have you in the studio here today.
Great to be here.
Yeah. Well, we've got an audience of Main Street business owners. This is the Main Street Business Podcast, after all. A lot of small business owners, some big business owners, some people with a side hustle, some people trying to launch a business. And I know you've got a lot of books out there, but I wanted to start with your flight plan on how to grow a small business. I've listened to some of your podcasts already, and I've ordered your books. I should have had them here before you got here, but I've been listening to a lot of your stuff, and I was really captivated by how you talk about an aircraft and how people should be thinking about their small business.
Yeah. I'm an accidental business guy. I mean, I started out as a memoirist and had a really successful career there, and then wrote a business book about messaging, and suddenly had a staff of 35 people and 1,000 certified coaches and all this kind of stuff. So I found myself moving very quickly from sitting around in my underwear writing books to actually having to put on pants and go into an office, which is just very foreign to me. And I don't tend to do well if things get complicated or confusing. And so one of the things that I
People don't like to buy. That's complicated.
Well, yeah, that's the case too. But also, I need very simple frameworks and processes in order to run my operation, and so created those in order to grow my business, and they worked very, very well. And then I would share them with friends. And basically, the realization that I had when I was trying to figure out, without a business degree, trying to figure out how to run a small business and grow it, is that a business works like an airplane. As long as I kept that airplane model in my mind as I was making decisions, I made much, much better decisions. And my business doubled year after year for quite a long time. And I actually do credit that growth. I don't credit the growth with the airplane model, though some of it. I credit not crashing with the airplane model. And here's what it is. The cockpit is where the leadership sits. It's the vision casting. It's where this thing is going. And so you have to reverse engineer, where is this plane going? How much fuel do we need? Who do we need on board? And you do that with mission statement guiding principles. A lot of people already know that. Those are actually really important. Your mission statement. I have a formula for a mission statement that I think is much better than most mission statements. Most mission statements are not memorable, hard to actualize, sound like they were written by lawyers. Mine is just, we will accomplish X by Y because of Z. So we will have, in my particular business, 1,000 StoryBrand certified guides, right? By 2027, January 1 of 2027, because a lot of people need help creating good marketing. That's my mission statement.
Yeah.
It's, we will accomplish X by Y because of Z, because I think you need to define the objective, you need to put a deadline to it, and then you need to have a reason that this is an altruistic motive in order to motivate a team. And so that's my mission statement. That's the cockpit. The wings of the airplane represent your products. They give the company lift. You have to have something to sell in order to get the numbers up.
Right.
So you have to have products that are highly profitable and in demand, and that creates lift. And then the jet engines of the airplane are your marketing. And your right engine is your marketing, your left engine is your sales. If you don't have sales, you have a single engine aircraft. But those things have to be really sharp, and you increase the thrust of those engines by clarifying your message. The body of the airplane, the fuselage, is where the people sit. That's your overhead, and you want to keep that light, as light as you possibly can. So you never want a bunch of people in that thing if you don't need them. And then the fuel tank is the cash flow. And those are the 7 parts or the 6 parts of an airplane that you've got to manage if you're managing a business. So what would happen is somebody would come to me and they would say, Don, we want to put some new furniture in the office, and it's $100,000. And the way I looked at that was you're putting a lot of weight into the fuselage of the airplane. And so I would say no. And they would say, hey, we want to spend $100,000 on advertising. And I would say, okay, that sounds good because it's making my ride engine sharper, or more thrust. So they'd come to me and say, wait, why is it's just $100,000 furniture or this?
Right. Yeah.
Well, let me explain to you how an airplane works. And as long as I kept that in my mind, we kept from crashing the plane.
Yeah.
And, so you're constantly making those decisions. Or if sales are sputtering, the fuselage is too big, our overhead's too big, our marketing isn't efficient enough, our sales isn't efficient enough. And if we're running out of gas, we're done.
Yeah, and I think the first thing when I think about this metaphor, which is excellent, I think, is like, what's the type of plane you're trying to build too? I just think of my own experience in building our own businesses is like, I've found there's like an optimal speed that you hit in your business, right?
Of growth?
Yes. And we've scaled some businesses very quickly. And in some ways, you have too much fuel. Like the marketing and sales is phenomenal, and you're going to crash out. Like you really are. Like that body of the plane cannot handle it. Your team, your culture, your delivery of your product or your service is threatened if you screw that up. And
not only that, you end up taking off in a Cessna, and 2 hours later you're in a Boeing 737, and the team that ran the Cessna doesn't know how to run this airplane.
Very true.
And, there are people who are just really, really good at flying a Cessna. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And you find yourself firing them or letting them go or trying to figure out how to transition them out because this plane has just gotten too big for them.
Yeah. And that's what you heard the saying, the people that got you where
that's
you
exactly
are
it,
the same people that get you where
not only
you're
that, but
trying
you
to
as
go.
the owner have to change.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a whole new set of skills.
You have to evolve. And that goes, so when we think about the cockpit and leadership, I think of like the person flying the plane, and it's driving that business every day where it's supposed to go. You also got like, how do I construct these different pieces? And maybe even like focusing in on how do I know what's out of whack?
Anytime a business is going down, that is your leads are drying up, your revenues, you had a negative month and you're moving money out of your safety account back in to fund it. What's wrong is usually your wings aren't big enough or light enough.
Yeah.
Your right and left engine aren't producing enough power, and the body of your plane has too much weight in it. So you got to throw people out of the body of the plane, which I don't recommend.
Yeah.
What I recommend is you actually analyze your products and say, is there a way I can make these products more profitable? Can I batch things together to create a new product? Can I take 3 or 4 things and, if I'm running a little pet store and I'm selling kennels and puppy food and this, can I actually put together a new puppy kit and batch it together and sell a lot more of those? Well, what you did is you just took the wings of the airplane, you made them bigger and lighter.
Yeah.
And then you go over there in your marketing engine and you promote that in the, in the paper or whatever, online, however you're going to promote that. Or you have somebody in the body of the airplane who's at the cash register, and you make a rule. Anytime somebody buys kibble, they have to say, did you see our new puppy kit over here? Is there anything over here that...
Yeah. Well,
that's going to increase sales. So you have to think like that in order to fix but it's always the airplane is not built right. And then what that does is it tells you what to fix.
So as you've looked at and consulted hundreds, thousands of businesses, I presume.
Yeah, probably thousands at this point.
Thousands. I think marketing and sales is something that solves all problems, right? Like, I mean, you gotta like execute on it, but if you get the marketing and sales right, that can mask a lot of problems in the business.
Yeah. Mask is a good word.
Yeah, right. It's not solving it. I should say it's probably not the best word. Yeah. It's masking it. Where do you spend most of your time when you get into a business owner and you're consulting with them? Where do you spend most of your time that's going to move the needle?
If they've come to me and they're really hurting, we talk about their message, which I would put in that marketing engine. Mm-hmm. I basically say, what problem do you solve? And if they can't answer that question, we have an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
We have an amazing opportunity. I've seen companies answer that question, come up with a soundbite to answer that question and double their business.
Yeah.
By just talking about what they sell differently. And so I think there are what I would do is I would start with 5 soundbites. Mm-hmm. The acronym spells out the word peace.
Okay.
So
I'm taking notes, guys.
Yeah. So the first is the problem.
Okay.
What's the problem that you solve? That's the most important soundbite that every small business owner needs an answer to that.
Okay.
And that's the number one thing that you want to talk about from here on out.
Yep.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. Mainly because problems are interesting and you're trying to get attention.
Yeah.
They also qualify customers.
Yeah.
The next one is the empathy soundbite. Here's why I care about the fact that you have this problem.
Yeah.
The next one is the answer, and that's where you put the product. I have a product that's going to solve this problem for you. The next one is the C, P-E-A-C. So C is change. When you use my product, your problem will go away. Mm-hmm. Life changes for you. And then finally, the end result. What does life look like after I buy your product? Let me give you an example. A company came to me recently called You Need a Budget. Okay. YNAB is the name of the company. This is a $50 million app in the Apple Store. They're making $50 million a year selling this app. They have a cult-like following.
Yeah.
People love this app. They use it to manage their money. They use it to manage their lifestyle. They came to me and they didn't like the word budget because it's really not about restrictive stuff. It's about spending and, a bunch of rules on, but they're already doing really well. So let me give you the peace sound bites. P was, have you ever worried about money? So everybody listening to me as it relates to your business needs to have you ever worried about, right? Have you ever worried about? Then they said, we know how it feels to worry about money. So it's very simple. That's your empathetic soundbite. Yeah. The answer is also very simple. Download the YNAB app. So PEA, download the YNAB app is the answer. C is, we'll help you get good with money. So that's how we're changing you. We're transforming you. We're going to help you get good with money. The end result is, so you never have to worry about money again. Now, let's say I'm at a cocktail party. Todd Curtis is the CEO. Let's say Todd's at a cocktail party, and somebody says, Todd, what do you do? If he says, I'm the CEO of YNAB, it's an app that helps you figure out, how to spend money well and not let it drive you crazy, you're going to get some casual conversation. But if you say, Todd, what do you do? And he says, well, have you or anybody ever known worried about money? Yeah. All of a sudden, that's a more interesting conversation.
Right, totally, absolutely.
I'm wondering where this is going. And then he says, I really feel for you. I have 65 employees who feel your pain, feel your uncle's pain. Yeah. Everybody worries about money, and we really care about them. What we want them to do is download the YNAB app off of the App Store. It's going to teach you to manage money, and we're going to help you get really good with money. That's what that app is going to do, so that you never have to worry about money again. Yeah. That is a much more interesting way to describe your business. Right. We value products that solve problems. What most business owners do is they talk about their product thinking that the person will figure out what problem it solves, and nobody ever figures it out. Yeah. So if you actually lead with the problem, then express empathy, which basically creates a bond between you and the person that you're talking to, and then position your product as the solution to that problem, the perceived value of that product goes way up, and people are much more likely to buy it. Then you talk about the change that you personally are going to experience if you use my product. That says there's not just a product, you're going to transform me. And then the end result is the happily ever after ending that you're going to have if you use my product. So essentially, every story is about a hero who's at peace. Then they fall into a hole. Then a guide comes to the edge of the hole, empathizes with them, throws a rope down, pulls them out of the hole to return them to peace. Yeah. And that's exactly what you're doing with your business. You're saying, here's the hole you're in, use this rope, which is my product, so I can pull you out of this and you can get back to normal.
Yeah. Now this is coming. This is stuff out of StoryBrand 2.0. This is your latest book that's out. Is this where Pieces comes out in?
Yeah, there's actually more than that in there, but that's in there. Yeah.
Okay. So, because I know you talk also about the hero is the customer in the story, and the guide here is the business. Right. I also thought it was interesting too. I was reading some of your work about that somehow like this problem that you're trying to solve and your message, or I guess your answer and what you're trying to change, is also like expressing some injustice in the situation of what you're trying to solve. Yeah. Tell me about that, because I'm actually
you're getting into the additional information. The advanced. Every business listening to me needs those 5 sound bites. Yeah. Philosophically, here's why you need them. Because every human being wakes up identifying as a hero in a story. A hero is a character that wants something and overcomes conflict to get it. So as it relates to your business, my question to you is, what's the conflict that your customer's trying to overcome? They need a new roof. They need a plumber. They need, they don't want to do their landscaping anymore. What's the problem they're trying to overcome? They are the hero in the story. The hero is ill-equipped, afraid to take action, in desperate need of help. You never want to position yourself as the hero in the story if you run a brand. The reason is that's a weak character. That's your customer. Your customer is a weak character. The guide, which is in almost every movie you ever see, Mr. Miyagi, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mary Poppins is the guide. The guide is a much, much stronger character who helps the hero win. So every hero, every customer out there has a problem, and they're looking for somebody to help them. And when you come along and you play the hero, I own a locksmith company, and I'm trying to grow it. I inherited it from my father, and I want to pass it along to my son. I'm not hearing anything that is helping me out of a hole here. And so what you need to do is position yourself as the guide helping the hero win.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden people start paying attention to you. The way you do that is you empathize with the customer's pain. You talk about their pain constantly. I always say if you want to grow your business, talk 75% about the pain your customer is in and 25% about your product.
Yeah.
And your sales will go up.
Yeah. It's interesting. I know like Nike had a whole theme for a while about honoring athletes basically, and honoring, like, it wasn't about their product. You know, it wasn't about like our shoes do this. It was more like honoring athletes, which I thought was like an interesting way to
like, so what they're doing is they have defined an aspirational identity for their customer. When I talk about change in that the transformation that a hero goes through, think about YNAB. Their last soundbite is "You'll never worry about our money again." Yeah. And also, we will help you get good with money. That's an aspirational identity. So what Nike is doing is saying, you know, look at these athletes and how great they are and how amazing they are. Yeah. And associating that with their Nike swoosh and all of their products, because you would like to also be a great athlete, wouldn't you? Yeah. And so I'm going to go buy these products to feel like the aspirational identity that Nike is presenting. When you have that many products and your company is that big, it's very hard to do actual sales. And so selling an aspirational identity is a move that multi-billion-dollar brands can do. I would say if you have a small business, it's not your best play. Yeah. In other words, you know, Coke probably spends $5 billion a year, Coca-Cola, or more. I don't know their marketing budget. And all their marketing is really, you know, it's just sort of like a feel-good marketing. Yeah. If a small business tries to do that, they'll go bankrupt. Yeah. The reason is we all know what Coca-Cola is. I don't know what you do. Right. So Coca-Cola doesn't have to explain what it does. It doesn't have to explain the problem that it solves. It doesn't have to do any of that because it's a household name. And a lot of times you'll take your hard-earned money as a small business owner to a marketing firm, a small marketing firm, and they'll use Coca-Cola's playbook. Yeah. And they'll put you in bankruptcy doing it. Yeah. And they'll still take your money. Yeah. What they need to do is actually just explain what problem you solve, put it on a billboard, put it on meta ads, and start making money.
So this PEACE method is very specific for small business owners.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're running for president, that's the script. Yeah. So it's not just one of my clients is national security. This is the script we use. Yeah. On China policy. So it's not just small businesses. Big businesses need to do this too.
Yeah. I love it. And I do think, you know, I tell our team a lot of times, I'm like, the problem our customers face is like our opportunity, actually. Like, that's why we exist as a business to begin with. And so we're able to solve their problem. This is more in the execution of our services as we kind of talk about it as a team. But I'm taking notes here on how to articulate this from a marketing message.
Well, I mean, you could say something like, with a self-directed IRA, you could say something like, have you ever wanted to invest creatively, but you can't because your money's tied up in an IRA? You know, if you want more control, I'm tempted to say, do you want more control over your retirement investments? But I think that's a little bit too elusive or vague. It doesn't trigger that desire. Yeah. So if you actually say, a lot of people invest in real estate or crypto or these sorts of things. They want to do these things, but they don't have the money. Yeah. Well, actually, if you put your retirement into an IRA account, you can invest creatively. Yeah. You know, something like that would be how I would open the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of talk about how we let you invest in assets you know and believe in. And so you got to like identify what those assets are. Well, you help us
control. Yeah. I have no control over what I'm investing in if I'm funding a SEP IRA, right? Yeah. But if I put that money into a self-directed IRA, I have a lot of creativity and control over what I do with my retirement investing. Yeah. And maybe that's an angle. You want to test these.
And I think the empathy angle is you've wanted to do this. haven't you ever wanted to invest in this and have more control and freedom and flexibility to invest in what you know and believe in?
Yeah.
Rather than what's on the menu?
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad.
Fidelity.
Yeah.
Well, open up a self-directed IRA, directed IRA. We're going to change your life. And you're going to live happily ever after, having a retirement you're looking forward to.
There you go. Well, there it is. See, it's easy. It's easy.
There you go. I mean, I'm a good student. Well, tell me about, you got some AI stuff that you're doing too. And I've been like I've poo-pooed AI in our team in many ways, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'll get copy or I'll get stuff and I'm like, did AI write this? And they're like, yes. I'm like, because it's kind of there and it sounds really good, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
The problem with AI, if I go to ChatGPT as a writer, as somebody who's written, I don't know, 15 books now, it takes me, I do work with AI to write.
Yeah.
It's slower because the prompts that I'm putting in are so long. They're almost longer than the answer it's giving me. And the reason that bad writing is coming out of AI is because the prompts you're using.
Yeah.
You're not giving it, you're not telling it what not to say. So what I did was created StoryBrand AI and gave it 110 single-spaced pages of notes on. So, for instance, StoryBrand AI will never let you play the hero in the story. It will always position you as the guide.
Okay.
It will not make that mistake, and everybody makes that mistake. StoryBrand will not be vague. It will not be elusive. It will not let you use inside language. It will not do any of that. And so the results are much better. I would still say consider everything that comes out as rough draft, and test it. But what I wanted to do was take and improve from a writer's perspective, and I've written many books, what AI was going to spit out. Yeah. And so StoryBrand AI came out of that.
Okay. So I want to get where we are today because I want to get those three things out on the table. How to grow your small business.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what you're doing with StoryBrand 2.0. We got in AI because that's all cutting edge. People do want to hear about AI. And I'm trying to figure that out. Everybody's trying to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
But I want to just talk about like some of the lessons you've learned with working with small business owners.
Okay. And
maybe some examples or two where you've seen transformational change. And because we run across business owners, as a business and tax lawyer, I'd get them on the phone and they're making so much money, they're just like want every tax strategy out there.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, wow, they're so successful. And then we got other ones fighting issues, problems here and there, and they're like hanging on for dear life and like, I'm just going to go back to my job. Entrepreneurship and small business is really hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so there can be a lot of success and a lot of failure, I think, in entrepreneurism, running a small business. What have you seen that's consistent or would be instructional for most small business owners listening right now to make meaningful impact in their business?
The number one thing, and I've got two, but the number one thing is that you need to worry about and figure out is what problem am I going to own? That's it. You have got to own a problem. And when people think of a leaky roof or a dog that barks every time somebody knocks on the door, they've got to think about you if that's the problem you solve.
Yeah.
And so you need to work on your soundbite that says, if you're struggling with X, call me. Well, what's X? Most people are vague or they list too many things and it goes in one ear, out the other. If you can actually nail that problem, that's the biggest challenge to growing your business is people can't figure out why they should buy from you.
Yeah.
The only reason anybody pulls out their wallet and buys anything is to solve a problem. And so if you own a problem, then everybody who has that problem is going to give you money. But if you are vague and elusive in how you talk about it, you're not going to own the problem. The money is in the problem. So that's the number one thing.
What's a good example? Do you have an example of someone you've worked with or even your own business expertise where you had to like refocus that and it was like transformational change? Like it's not sometimes like, we think of the aircraft, it's not so much like that the wings or the products are wrong, whether it's the locksmith or the plumber or whatever it is. Like they have the expertise to solve the problem. They're just messaging it wrong.
Right.
Who's up in the cockpit is like going around like, they can't hit the right path forward, whatever it is, to like drive that plane efficiently to make it profitable.
Let me give you a non-small business example just because it's a fun example. National security. So the national security, the NSA is a massive organization. It's classified how many employees. I don't have a security clearance there, but I've worked with them quite a bit. They have so many challenges, 8 or so divisions, cybersecurity, Signet, they work with the Pentagon, they work with foreign security analysis and organizations. They have to do a congressional authorization to fund the NSA every single year. So they're going to Congress every year and asking them to re-up the budget, which means Senate hearing after Senate hearing after confirmation hearing. So what they didn't have, though, was a controlling idea, because it's actually a relatively new organization. Massive, the budget is not disclosed. And they have all sorts of problems. I mean, people think they spy on American citizens. They don't. Yeah. Hollywood is really misrepresenting them in a terrible way. And so as we worked with them, we thought, well, they had kind of a tagline, which was protect our freedom, defend the future. Mm-hmm. But that's an example of vague.
Yeah.
So when you go to meet a member of Congress and they have some power to affect this authorization, and you say, well, defend our freedom, they're going, what are you, the Marines? What are you, the Pentagon? What are you making us, the helicopter? What are you doing? Yeah. So we needed something more specific than that. And the interim director actually came up with intelligence means victory. 3 words. So now you go to Congress and you say, well, as you know, intelligence means victory, and we need billions of dollars. Yeah. What are they saying yes or no to? Yeah. Victory. Yeah. Right? And that's also, now intelligence is just what they collect, but they also protect our intelligence. Mm-hmm. That has some weight to it now, because it means we get defeated if we don't have it. Mm-hmm. That's the sort of soundbite that you're looking for. Something that immediately says, okay, let's talk about that. That seems really, really important.
Whoever's buying, whether that's a customer or a member of Congress, right?
Yeah, because really what is Congress saying is, like, we're running a pretty bad deficit, and you're asking for what? And so what they're actually saying is, why are you important? Why should I fund you? Well, defend our future, protect the freedom. It's not going to motivate a pen on a check. Mm-hmm. What's going to motivate that is intelligence means victory. And so, you're looking for that soundbite that explains why your product is so urgent, what problem it solves, and it needs to resonate with your customer in seconds, really in milliseconds. As soon as you say it, somebody needs to say, I need that, or my uncle needs that, or tell me more, because I might want to buy this. Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're at a cocktail party and you meet 2 people who do the same thing, same product, same price, same quality. Meet the first one, you say, what do you do? They say, well, I'm an at-home chef. I come to your house and I cook. You're going to have questions about where they went to culinary school. You're going to have questions about who they've cooked for. You ever cooked for anybody famous? Things like that. Mm-hmm. Next person, an hour later, same product, same price, same value, everything. What do you do? Well, most families don't eat together anymore because they don't have time. I'm an at-home chef. I come to your house and cook. Completely different conversation.
Yeah, way better positioned.
But it's the same product. Yeah. But chef number 2 is going to do all the business because they've positioned their product as the solution to a problem.
Yeah, I love that example because it gets at the problem you might not think you're solving. Like,
what's the
real problem?
What's the real?
Solving? You're not solving food.
No,
you're solving, I want to eat at home with my family and I don't have time.
That's exactly it.
And that's way more compelling. Like, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
We do. I buy that.
Yeah.
we have someone that comes to our house that cooks for us because we have that problem.
Yeah.
And you want to eat at home.
And you want to eat healthy and you want to eat together and you don't have time to cook.
And I don't buy it because I need food. I buy it because I want to be at home.
That's exactly it. And pay a premium for it. I get my hair cut on my front porch. Yeah. Because I don't have time.
Yeah.
So let's say, and I probably pay twice as much for a haircut. Yeah. But that barber, Robin, she might introduce herself by saying, really busy people, they don't have time to get a haircut. But in this day and age, you got to look good. I come to your house. I come to your house and I cook. And I come to your house and I cut your hair. Yeah. That's how she should position herself. Yeah. And she can charge twice as much for doing that.
Can I tell you one of the best sells? I just remember this moment. I had a BMW at the time. Loved that car. It was this BMW 6 Series. I took it in to get fixed. It had a tire blown out on it. This is the guy, just selling me tires, right? And he comes back and he's like, all right, well, I have that tire, but it's like $1,200. I'm like, for one tire? And he's like, yeah. He's like, but I'll put it on in 45 minutes. He's like, and I was like, done. He sold me on time. Because I thought, when he phrased it that way, I thought, I'm going to have to go somewhere else, go to Costco or Discount Tire, wherever you go.
He reframed it.
Yeah. And he knew I was in a hustle because I was in there like, all right, how much longer will this, what's the time? When can I get in? Like, so he kind of had this is just a, a one-on-one thing, but I'm just thinking about this from a messaging.
That was really, really intelligent of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, done. He's like, cool, you'll be done in 30, 40, 45 minutes.
But I probably would have made the same decision. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because he reframed it that as not being about money, but being about time.
He didn't
the other
tell
thing
me
is,
this
if you
is
don't
an
buy that
amazing
tire,
this matches your other tires.
Yeah.
He was like,
and also you quickly realized if I don't buy this tire, it's going to cost me hours to figure out how to solve this problem. That was probably a $600 tire.
yeah, exactly. I know. I looked in the 30
He
minutes.
charged you $600 for the 45 minutes.
I waited,
Yeah,
I was Googling what that tire really went for. It was not $1,200.
That's
and he
tough.
knew that.
Yeah.
He told me that. He's
Yeah.
like, you go get somewhere else. But I do think some of those attributes to your services, that could be the plumber or the locksmith. A lot of people who might DIY the service that you sell, right? A lot of times you're giving them back time, which you can tie to their family or the things that they otherwise may want to do or love.
Or is there one thing to ask ourselves is, our product solves problem X. Is there a more valuable problem that it also solves? Our problem solves a hungry family, but a family that can't connect because they can't sit together at dinner anymore is a bigger problem. Well, let's switch to that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that now.
Yeah.
And let's see if that gets a better result. You're always looking to sort of say, is there a bigger problem that I can solve here? I have a friend who wrote a book about the Enneagram, personality theory type thing. I got an email from him, and it said he's doing a spiritual retreat for $50 on the Enneagram. So I texted him back, and I said, I'll pay $50 to learn what you know about the Enneagram to help me spiritually, but I'll pay $10,000 if you can help my team connect with each other and understand each other. He called me. He said, what are you talking about? I said, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just sell it, package it in a different way, and solve a bigger problem. Now, that's all he does.
Yeah.
And he has 2 houses doing it. Because he took the same product, and instead of selling it for $50, he sold it for $10,000. Because it's like a cordless drill. I can either come and hang a picture, or I can use it to build a house.
Yeah.
But it's the same drill. So you got to figure out, what problem am I solving here?
Yeah, and I think, you've got to, whether it's marketing or sales, and however you're messaging your story, whatever this is, like, we have a certain amount of attention from people, and this window of buying opportunity, whether it's an email that you got, or it's a one-on-one conversation, it's whatever it is, it's an ad, it's a website. I mean, people have limited attention span, and we do think they will connect the dots.
No, they won't.
Yeah, like, you got to lay it up for them.
You do. You can't, we have a mantra around our office, and it's don't make people think.
Yeah.
Do not make people think. Spell it out so clearly.
Don't bury the lead.
Which, by the way, the reason that people are not clear is because it's extremely hard. It's very, very easy to say things that are vague and confusing. It is extremely hard to say things clearly. But when you say things clearly, nobody has to think to figure out why they should give you money. So it's worth sitting and thinking about the soundbite that I'm going to use. And one of the reasons I love soundbites is you write it once and you repeat it 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
And you memorize it and you just say it. It's just a line.
Part of your team culture, too.
That's exactly it.
It's very digestible.
Yeah, 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like, that's your line.
Yeah.
And you just
Your
repeat it
soundbite,
over
I
and
like
over, and you make $1 billion.
Okay, so I started this dialogue here of one major thing, and you talked about sound bites, getting clear on the problem that you're solving. Like, what problem do I own?
Yes, own a
I
problem.
love that. Own a problem.
And let me just say this real quick. Many small business owners will say, well, all my competitors solve the same problem. Let me just tell you, if you're saying it clearly in the mind of the public, you're the only one solving that problem.
Yeah.
You're the only one. So clarity is your competitive advantage.
So many good one-liners.
Well, think about
Good
like Peter
Clarity
Attia.
is your
How many doctors
advantage.
out there are helping you with longevity?
Yeah.
1 million? How many can you name? 1.
Yeah.
Why? Because he communicates the clearest, Peter Attia. And so you want to be that person in your industry. You want to own it, and you're going to own it with clarity.
Okay, I think you said you had 2 things. You said one was, what problem do I
Yeah,
own?
the other one is a whole other world that we can dive into. But
maybe let's give them a
you
taste.
you
Where can they
need
learn more?
you need a master plan.
Okay.
I learned I read Pete Carroll's book I think it was called
Football
Win
coach?
Forever. Yeah.
Okay.
I met him and got to know him, and we spent some time together. Not much. He probably wouldn't remember me now, but he did remember me for a minute. But he's an inspiration for me. And he made it all the way to the head coach of the Jets and the head coach of the New England Patriots and was fired. He had 500 seasons, I think, with those teams. He had a year off in Southern California where he was from, and he decided, the thing I've never done as an NFL coach or as a coach, period, is put together a master plan of how I would run a team. I've been winging it. And so he spent a year putting together a giant binder of how he would run practice, how he would run meetings, how he would recruit players, all this kind of stuff. And he got organized. He even had a page on how the receptionist would answer the phone. So he became a micromanager of a team. USC called him and said, can we interview you for the head coach job? Now, what was true at the time was USC already had their head coach. But the board was saying, you need to interview 2 other coaches in order to, or we're not going to let you hire this guy. Well, Pete lived in the area, so they were like, well, we don't have to fly him in.
Yeah.
Let's get him in here for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So he comes in, he drops this binder on the desk, and they start asking him questions. Like 8 hours later, he's still sitting there, and they're blown away by this guy. Yeah. And they actually say, what would you say in the press conference if we made you head coach at USC? Yeah. And he said, well, turn to page 433, because I already wrote it, and he did. And they hired him on the spot.
Yeah.
And he took him to multiple national championships. Yeah. Then he goes on to Seattle, takes him to 2 Super Bowls and wins one of them. The difference between you running a good business and you being a champion is that master plan. Mm-hmm. And I just saw a clip of Nick Saban in a meeting at Alabama. He had a binder. I'm not making this up, man. That binder was 20 inches thick. I don't even know that. I don't even know where they got that binder. Like, who makes that binder? It's this thick. And you say, well, how does he win national championships? He knows how you're supposed to drink from the water fountain. Yeah. And you better do it right. Yeah. And everybody knows their job. There's no excuse. He's not winging it. And that's the point. I'm preaching to the choir because that's the point I'm in with my company. Mm-hmm. Like, if we're going to get to 100 million, we need a master plan on how everything in this business operates. Yeah. And that's the journey I'm on next, is that master plan.
Yeah, and I think if we go back to the plane analogy, if you're that captain in the cockpit, flying that thing, you better know everything about that business, how that plane's supposed to fly. I mean, that is like your
and you do it with checklists. You do not trust your gut.
Yes, and that's why they do that. Thank goodness, right? Exactly, but that's the whole team know their role and what their responsibility is. What do we do if there's danger? What if this warning goes off, right? Like all these contingencies and things you think of for flying a plane. This is a business. I mean, that stuff is complicated and hard too. Yep. There are challenges.
And people can get hurt.
Yeah.
People's livelihoods are at stake.
Yeah, there's a lot at risk. Your employees, your customers. I mean, you've got to win on all those different areas. And I think it can be difficult to be at the helm of that. And having a plan, I mean, we try to do this. I'm just thinking of so many things to do here for myself, but I gotta not get caught up in that. I can totally relate to that preparation and planning, the initial thought in it. But I will say one thing is being willing to change and adapt too. Yeah. And that there could be contingencies, like in Pete Carroll's binder.
I'm sure every page changes.
Yeah, what if that's how
your marketing director comes back and says, "Hey, I'd like to change how we do a webinar." Okay, well, let's talk about it, and then rip that out and put it in.
Goes out. What do we do?
You go. Yeah.
There is no more Pac 10 or 12, whatever. So, well, Donald, awesome to have you here.
Matt, thank you. I've really loved this conversation.
Yeah, it's been great. I got you a tax tip, too.
You got me a great tax tip.
Before we go here, self-rental rule. If you didn't make it here on the podcast, so we clipped that out. But self-rental rule. For any of you business owners buying real estate for your own business, which Donald's doing, you can use a self-rental rule to write off your real estate losses against the business income. All right, where should people go to learn more about you or any things you've got coming up?
StoryBrand.com.
Okay.
StoryBrand.ai. is where you can go, and I'll write your sound bites for you.
I love it.
And by the way, that's free. There's a paid version, but you get it for 7 days for free. So, let me write your sound bites.
and I'll write your sound bites for you. See, you're
I'll
always
write
good
your
with the
sound bites for you.
messaging.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just teach
Let me say
You
it
put
better. Let me
practice
say it better.
for you.
You're saying it wrong, and it's costing you money. Let me rewrite it for you. Go to StoryBrand.ai.
So you can make more business.
That's exactly
so
you can make more money.
and enjoy your
So you
life.
can stop sounding like a fool.
See, we got to get to the change and the end result too.
That's
I wanna
right.
Carry that through. I love that.
But
Piece.
yeah, so that you can retire with an IRA that you can control.
Yeah,
with a lot more money in
retirement
it.
you're actually looking forward to, not dreading. Awesome to have you here. Thanks so much. Get over to StoryBrand 2.0.
StoryBrand 2.0 is the book on Amazon.
Okay, storybrand.com and then storybrand.ai.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have an event coming up too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. We have one in January. It's a StoryBrand Your Business Live. Okay. It's limited to 100 people, but I'm in the room for 2 days with you, and I'm going to really write your sound bites. Okay. I'm going to tell you when they're wrong.
Okay.
And we've got about 20 coaches who are going to be in the room. Awesome. Kind of hovering around to make sure you get it right. So if you just want to nail it down, you want to get your 5 sound bites.
Other business owners.
Yeah, other business owners, 100 other business owners. We're going to look at your website and show you how you can do things differently. And you can find out more about that at storybrand.com. Actually, I'm sorry, storybrandyourbusiness.com.
Okay.
Yeah, is where that one is.
StoryBrandYourBusiness.com. All right. Well, thanks for being in today. Thanks, everyone, for being here for the Main Street Business Podcast. We'll be back next week with another amazing episode. We'll see you then.